For the finals, we're breaking out the 10 minutes here, and I'm going to disappear behind the stage as the game starts. And this is the finals. Welcome one and all. This is the QuakeWorld tournament here by Faceit at DICE 2017. We've got Randy Pitchford here up against the Titan, that is Tim Willits, Titan of Quake. Let's see if those powers that Dark Ritual has worked out here for Randy. The opening engagement's slightly favoring Tim, I think, but it's fairly close. And if you think about the position, we have a good position here for Randy. He's able to kind of control this side of the map and fall back onto the red whenever he needs to. And Tim realizes he's got a really good engagement there. Perhaps a little bit surprised that Randy was sticking around for so long, as Tim is in a really strong position at the moment. So Randy definitely needs that red. I'll have to see what the idea is from Tim. You can see, I feel like Randy is trying to predict here exactly how Tim's going to move around the map and try to catch him off guard with that first rocket. And one cool thing is you can get that nice bounce, and it's oh wow, that was a beautiful rocket there coming in from Randy. Oh no, a telefrag straight away. Wow, cries of anguish there from Randy. So Tim in a great position now after that telefrag. Randy is all about him. He hit some amazing shots. Like that's daylight robbery right there for Randy. And now the follow-up here from Tim with the lightning gun is just devastating. And Tim was left like pretty decently stacked after that fight. Not perfect, but looking fairly good. It does take a pretty bad rocket there as Randy tries to get himself back in onto an engagement. But that is a heartbreaker for all the Randy fans out there. That was, again, going into that fight right before the telefrag, I was super surprised that Randy managed to even win it. Had to hit a pixel rocket to actually do that. And it was taken away. All right, so Tim back on the high ground. And you can probably hear Randy shouting in the background there as well. You're getting really into this one. But it's a dream to be his. The dream of that trophy. So Tim right there on the high ground once again. It's going to be bumping into Randy. It's kind of a meeting point for both players, a natural, organic meeting point, and nicely done there from Randy. Able to take down Tim with the rocket work. He will be evening things up as well. Tim, of course, though, he's stacked up, though, off the spawn. And this is the critical moment here for Randy, that Randy's able to get himself healthy again. He can't really afford to take engagements after big fights like that. And you can see the problems that he might be having here. Some good damage coming in, and you can see a bit of panic setting in there as Randy realizes suddenly, I made a mistake. I have made a terrible mistake. And he does get fragged by the oncoming Tim. And Tim is definitely going to be feeling good about that one as he takes the lead, and also is going to be in a position to start extending that lead potentially. We'll have to see. He doesn't have that red armor. It was used up in the last fight, and he's on the green side of the map, so that's going to help to stack him up a little bit. He gets the Mega as well, so that Mega's going to help. And here goes Tim in his efforts to reclaim the red armor room and going for the mid-airs there with the rocket launcher. Great pops there, and oh my goodness, I have no idea what happened. Tim was not even on screen, and we see Randy Randy there off screen shooting himself with a rocket. Not the most optimal strategy. Some may say it is suboptimal, but we'll see if that pays off later on. Randy, perhaps that's part of what he needs to get going. And we have 6.5 minutes left because of this extended time limit. So plenty of time, really, to work back 2 frags, to be honest. There's no rush just yet. So Randy taking his time here. Randy on camera at the moment. Now back onto Tim. And Tim, again, trying to work those positions. With that lead as well, he can be fairly conservative with how he plays this, but he will find Randy over the red armor. This is nice here for Randy, able to get the rockets connected there. Tim very weak, and in having position on the red armor, he might actually be able to get the kill and keeps the stack going, which is very important. And Tim now knows he is in a lot of trouble. And Tim said this one could go either way, and I wasn't sure if that was modesty or not. And Randy is putting up a pretty good fight here so far. And he is in the driving seat currently. But he just needs to be able to deny Tim that red armor. That's very important here for Randy to make sure that he can stay on top of this one. Stealing away the rockets as well is always a good sign. And you can see Tim there's waiting, lurking around by the teleporter, and Randy decisively coming in and taking the frag. But the problem could be off the spawn, as we've seen previously. But somehow Randy manages to get himself to safety there. Tim spawned very close to him and passed him without realizing he was there. that is a stroke of luck, I think, for Randy, because Tim definitely could have gotten the frag there, so he will be missing that one. However, now things tighten up a little bit here. Tim still has the lead, but that's a good opening rocket, and all of a sudden, Randy's doing a fantastic job. This is exactly the kind of work we need to see from Randy, for him to be able to get himself back in on this one. There's a pursuit once again through the teleporters. Nice pop there from Tim, able to get some good splash damage coming in with the rockets. And Randy's in a lot of trouble, and they both know it. Trying to back away as quickly as possible, falling down, and it's very panicked once again. This seems to be, oh my god, so close. One of those rockets, if one of those rockets came a few millimeters to the left, that would have been a very dead Randy, but finally he will die, and he will respawn. And that's how Quake works. You die and then you respawn. That's basically Quake in a nutshell. And there it is. Tim is going to suicide there with the rocket launcher. Again, the splash damage is enormous, so it's pretty easy to do that, actually. And here comes Tim. He wants to just push the issue there onto Randy, and Randy will go down once again. Tim extending the lead. So all that hard work that Randy had done, all the good work he'd done to try to get rid of that stack of Tim, to start working in on cycling items, stealing away rockets and playing the long game a little bit, all come crashing down in the blink of an eye, in the flurry of a few rockets. Now Tim is going to be back on the duty of getting stacked up, and he's doing a fairly good job of it. That said, Randy is certainly in a spot where, as he has been doing, if he gets a couple good openers, exactly like that, straight in the face, then Tim's going to have to think twice before moving forward for the engagement. 3 minutes and 20 seconds left. This is the final. This is the final game of QuakeWorld at DICE 2017. Who is going to emerge victorious and lift that trophy with pride? Randy once again finding Tim. They're really wanting to get a solid engagement, but being knocked off the top by the rockets does create a situation where he can't follow up, and that's frustrating there for Randy. But Randy generally has been pretty good at catching Tim off guard, but this time it's been Tim that swoops in, steals away the red, and uses the rockets to finish off Randy. Big problems now for Randy, and Tim's still around that red area of the map, moving quickly to try to get the rockets, to try to stack himself back up, and to try to be in a good position for the next fight. But there is still a window of opportunity for Randy if he can prevent the red armor pickup. It looks like that will not be the case, though. 2.5 minutes to go, and the pressure starts to build for Randy. 3 frags is the deficit for him, as Tim sits on 4 and Randy remains currently on 1. At least it's not -1. It is a positive 1, which is always good. We've seen a few -1s so far in the tournament. I love that we've been seeing some telefrags as well, right in the finals. Oh, what's going on here? Randy just throwing the rockets there, and I'm not sure what he was working on at the top level there, but he will be fragged. He gets the return frag immediately. Good spawn. The luck in where you spawn is really important here as well. And we've got Randy trying to follow up, as Tim will actually spawn straight back into the fight. So unrelenting is this action right now, as we get Randy trying to push for the frag. He knows that time is really starting to run low at this point. 1.5 minutes to claim these last 3 kills, but he's getting really weak at the moment. It's going to be really hard to get this frag. Nice rocket coming into play. Tim a little bit flustered there, but still able to bring things back into a composed manner, allowing him to pull out the lightning gun and get the kill. Tim now with 6, Randy there with 2, and only just a minute left now in this one, in the finals. I had Randy in the distance there saying, "I got this. This is my match." I love the positivity. You got to believe. You have to believe. And Randy still believes. 1 minute left, and Randy is desperately trying to search for Tim at this point. Tim popping in, cursory, in a glance, a rocket as well is always nice. He will get a connection there, but the red armor pickup for Randy negates that rocket damage pretty easily. And here goes Randy. He needs to get this fight happening. Tim is playing to win right now, that is for sure. He's just making sure that he's not going to get caught out in the engagement. We can see why, switching to Tim's perspective. He's on that green armor, it's very weak. A couple bad rockets and he's definitely dead here, but he's controlling the position. Great direct rocket at distance from Tim. And that is going to finish off Randy. And here he goes, pushing the issue a little bit. Just got to be careful with those cheeky rockets, though. The poach with the teleporter. Tim's very weak. A lot of damage goes in there for Tim against Randy, allowing him to easily finish off Randy off the spawn. And once again, where you spawn is so important after these fights. Tim has had some great luck in this match from that perspective. 5 seconds left. Oh, we get a telefrag to finish it all off. It's Randy that gets it, but it will be Tim that wins and will be crowned the winner of the Faceit QuakeWorld DICE 2017 Championship.